everyone, and welcome to Discover Deep Connections podcast, sponsored by my company, My Soul to Soul Journey. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Here we unravel the tapestries of love that span from your past and present lifetimes. In the first season of this weekly podcast, we'll explore the profound lessons and soul connections that are woven into your past love affairs and uncover the secrets that can guide you towards that soulful transformation in your current life relationship. My name is Tracy, and I'm here to guide you through those journeys. I'm a transformational life and relationship coach, mother of 4 fabulous humans, and I love to live through love and find joy in all the little things. I absolutely love road trips for delicious treats and treasures and finding friends I haven't met yet. If you're at a crossroad in your life and feel the pull of past life relationships impacting your now life romances, or just love listening to real stories from people connected to multiple lives, I invite you to tune in and subscribe. You can listen to me and my very special guests on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. I would also like to invite you to then share your thoughts with me about the episode. As of now, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, which I will link in the description. So if you'd rather chat on one of those platforms, please take the time to find me. I'd really appreciate it. Finally, if something in this episode resonates, did something trigger you, then come on, you're on the internet and therefore you must have an opinion, right? Please shout that opinion out to the world and let's have some great conversation and perhaps invite a little healing and a little growing along the way. But right now, I invite you in and let's meet Corinne. She is here to discover how to connect more deeply to someone special in her life.
Yay! Hi. Okay. So how this reading works is I want you don't have to verbalize it, but I want you to think about an unresolved or an unwanted issue in your relationship. Got it? And just focus on that. Feel the last time you had that experience. Okay? And feel the question that you had. In other words, why am I here? What is going wrong? What can I do to resolve this? Just think about some of those common questions or questions that were just personal to you. You don't have to say them out loud if you don't want to. Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call forth or ask what lifetime you've had with this person and what the relationship was, what the lesson was, or if there is a message for you in that lifetime to answer your question and support what you were thinking about. Does that make sense? Okay, so you are immediately taking me back to Iceland first comes up. Interesting. In springtime, because I don't guess it's springtime, you've got a lot of green rolling hills, little flowers around. You're frolicking. And when I say frolicking, you're like almost as if like the Sound of Music movie where they start frolicking over the hills, that kind of frolicking. And you're with the person that you're thinking about, your sisters. You're just a couple years apart. You're very I almost want to say it's a year apart, really close, close in age. And you're literally just running through the hills, laughing, giggling, noticing the beauty of nature, noticing there's this little tiny flower that you notice, and when you're frolicking and you're running through the hills, you're not allowed to step on the flowers. You're not allowed to diminish the beauty, is what you say. And you're speaking a different language at the time, but you're very cautious of these flowers and the beauty. And you're sisters, so you help support each other through this. This is young. You're probably about 7 and 8, going on 9. You're the older, she's the younger. And you grow up, as I'm going through the years of this lifetime, you grow up, you stay in the same town for a while until she leaves. She goes someplace else. She gets on a boat and she goes someplace else. That's the last time you see her. So there's a yearning. You never got to say your goodbyes before passing. So there's a yearning to hold on to her. There's a yearning that I won't get to say goodbye. But she's always been with you. She came back to you. So in this lifetime, if you do have that, just know that she's always with you, even when her body isn't. This doesn't mean that there's going to be a passing of any sort or a death of any sort, but she does go away to do her work to come back to be with you. The other thing is, when she left, what she's showing me is she had to leave to go and break some of those ancestral ties, but she's also gathering some tools and some ideas, some things. She's gathering things from where she went to bring back for you guys to manifest differently. She didn't think that she was physically never going to see you. She thought she was going to be able to come back and physically see you. But she learned a lot of life lessons in that lifetime to bring back when you guys came back together, for you to move forward. So she has those with her now to teach you. She's not aware of them. That's not going to come until later.
That makes sense.
I think you're starting to see snippets of it, but she's just not ready to tune into that part of her yet. And this is back, I want to say, this is back far. Okay. That was the end of that for you two. So then we're going back to so we're going back to London before it was London. Back when it was dark, almost like the times where they thought Dracula, Jack the Ripper. It's really wet, it's cold, it's dark in London. In that area of Europe, it wasn't referred to. It's different. You're a female. Where is she? She's not she. She's showing up as a him. You work for him. And he doesn't own you, but he controls you. He limits your money. Almost like, he's the owner. he is very tyrannical is a good word for it that's coming up.
Tyrannical?
Very dictator, very not necessarily narcissistic, but very controlling, very, you do this and I gave you 5 steps and you only did 4, so you're not going to get your whole pay. Which is interesting because as soon as you do the 5th, even though it was irrelevant, then you get your whole pay. That's how controlling it is. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this part of him that has this in his mind that you need to do all these things before you can get what you want. Don't like that, but that's the way it is. And you do what needs to be done, but you still have that rebel in you of like, I did everything I could do. And then he's like, no, there's still something missing. And then once he tells you what's missing, then you do it and complete it. So why is this coming up? Why are you showing me this lesson? This lesson is because if you tell me what you need me to do, I will do it. Rather than hold it in your head what you want me to do and not there's a communication gap. So this is showing me that there's that communication gap. So bridging that gap with moving forward, bridge the gap now with inquisitive questions, not necessarily what do you want me to do, because that puts them on the spot. He didn't like that. But what is there to do? So almost as if you were creating a third person, you understand, or like, instead of asking, what would you like me to do? Ask, what is there to do today? Do you understand the difference in those two questions?
Yeah.
Okay. When this is coming through, because that's the communication gap. Instead of directing it to that person, you have to do it indirectly. That's where the communication lies. And then once that indirect communication starts, then you can move it towards the how. He never learned how to express himself. That had to come through in other lifetimes. What he wanted and needed. But this is what's coming up. You're showing me this because that's how you can attack the situation this lifetime. Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Okay, so why I'm being shown this lifetime and this communication gap is because this is a clue on how to talk to your person in this lifetime right now. Okay. Doing it indirectly is the best way, is how you need to communicate with them at this point. Ooh, and I just got tingles. Yeah, going around it. Then it's like, oh, okay. So then if you went indirectly, then he would give you everything you needed. In that lifetime, you stayed in that dynamic for a while until eventually you could not work anymore. And then, but your relationship established, then the kindness set in. So he was there for you when you could not work, even though he tried to control you when you did work for him. Interesting. So it's as if he knew everything you've done and honored everything you've done. He just wasn't able to show it. He didn't know how. He didn't have those emotional tools how. One, because that was how everything was done back then. There wasn't a lot of warmth. There wasn't a lot of hospital, it wasn't cozy. Okay, I think we're done with that lifetime. Do you have a specific question? You don't have to ask it out loud if you don't want to, but you can. I've gone through like 7 lifetimes.
I have so many questions like flooding me.
Yeah. So you're showing me another lifetime back in... Okay, we're coming more into this century. We're going into like 1820s, colonial days, because you're very, very simple, like straw sacks. She's your mother. She's your mother. You're a little girl in this one as well. You loved, like, you have a divine love for her and respect for her like a child does. But it was very mundane. And you wanted more. She was okay with the mundane. The father wasn't there a lot. Her husband was not there a lot. Very we do as we're supposed to do, or we've been shown to do. There was an illness though. Hold on. She lost, so I'm getting the smell of like the hospital. You lost a little baby boy. She lost a child. Almost at birth, almost a year or so old. It was your brother. And after that, it was just going through the motions. That's a good way to say this life. And with her and her husband at that time, they just went through the motions. He went to work, came home, kissed on the cheek, ate dinner, sat and read, went to bed. And it was the same thing every day.
So they were stuck.
They were stuck. And you're showing this, and you're showing me this because as a child, you knew you had to get out of it. But you were a child. You were 4, 5 years old, and you wanted to get out. Like, how do I stop? How do I get out of this reality? So you would go, and on your little piece of land, you'd go off of your property, which you weren't supposed to do, but you had the neighbors, right? You had the neighboring properties. You would go off of your property and explore, and you would find, again, in the little things, you have these little flowers coming to you. They're not daisies. I don't know what they are. They're like forget-me-nots, or they look like, we probably think they're weeds now, but they're not. They're not from here. Gosh, dang it. They're pink little dried flowers, and they look like daisies, but they've got more petals on them. You see them. Anyways, okay, off with the flower. So the thing is you're finding the simple things to remind her that there's joy out there. find the small, simple things to remind her of the joys outside of her reality. Does that make sense? So she is stuck in this house. And she goes outside to do laundry and things like that and gather things and food and blah, blah, blah. But she's stuck in this house, and you keep wandering out the gate, and you've got those little flowers. These little flowers, little tiny things are coming back. Anyways, you go and you get these little flowers to remind her of these little joys to smile and get out of this thing. And you're trying to get her out the gate. You're trying to get her out of the gate. And when you're coming out the gate, if I'm going down farther, so I'm asking you to go down farther, there's a stream. Interesting. This is a stream of water. So you've got some pebbles in there. And you let the sadness go in the stream. You just watch it go down. And you wish, it's like you sit next to the stream and you just watch the water flow down, and just kind of like let all of your thoughts and let all of the sadness flow away so that she can get better. And then you gather your little flowers and you bring them back to remind her of joy. You're trying to get her out of the gates. She doesn't hold that sadness in this lifetime, but you do hold that connection of trying to make her happy. So it's showing me, let's just take the obvious and metaphorically, to have her get out of her sadness, get out of her box, break out of her shell. There we go. Here it goes energetically. Thank you, angels.
Thank you, angels.
Yeah, get her out of the gate. I like that clearing. That was a good clearing.
That makes sense.
It's still going. Like I think every single hair on my body is standing up right now. That's a lot of sadness in that lifetime to come forward. Yeah. It's interesting. So, without disclosing too much, I know you know the place up north that you always go to.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really beneficial to go there and find that river, not the same river, but find the river with pebbles. Yep, and I'm clearing more, and let it flow.
Let me write that down.
Okay. Aww. See, I knew I needed tissue. I said I couldn't cry.
I love them so much. I don't want to suffocate them, but that's like that intense love that I have.
Yeah, that showed up. As the helper, like as I'm reflecting on those 3 lives that showed up, you've been there trying to do the work, and you're doing it. You just got to go back a little different than you have been doing it.
Did the other person show up at all?
We can go back in. Hold on. Interesting. So he came back into the life in London, reversed, because you were a male in that life. The person you asked about was your boss. The person you're asking about now was your spouse. Female, at home, not doing much, but just pacing the floors. Back then, women weren't doing much because those were the roles that they were played, other than to pace the floors, scrub the floors, and worry and think and worry and think and worry and think and worry and think. Right? So what you're showing me is she's in the house, in this very small cottage, just very, we have what you need, worry and think, worry and think, worry and think. As you're scrubbing and doing the things, cooking, cleaning, holding on to everything. Like every little thing, we might need this, we might need this, we could use this, we could use this. Holding on to everything, just in case.
That resonates today.
Yes. So, but, and this isn't a projection onto this life to say that you have to get to the end of the life at that time. It's when it's that communication with the person you asked about, your boss. When you start to open that communication, that's when, and remember, it's kindness, the realization of I care for you, I care for what you're doing, sets in, and that opens up for things to, that takes it from this dark era to more sunshine coming in. Does that make sense? More love coming in. It's that communication gap right now that is holding it. And so instead of going directly, you need to go indirectly. And then the person who is a little tyrannical is going to soften and be kinder and surrender that tyrannical dictatorship of saying, okay, here, let me give you more. Once that giving starts, then it starts to flow. Then the worry starts to dissipate, and they're no longer in there scrubbing the floors and collecting every single thing from outside just in case. Because then they start to open the windows in the house because they're not afraid of the people outside. We'll go a day without, scrubbing the floors and worrying, and focus more on like a loving meal. And that little communication tweak kind of starts to open that lifetime up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let me, while you were doing that, I was looking at the pink daisy flower.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like this?
You're blurry and I'm blurry. No, it's little.
Oh,
yeah, like the little in the corner. So like it's a bud. You see the one, like it's a little in the corner?
I'm trying.
Are those little, like the palm of your hand little? Or are they big?
I think those were bigger ones, but hold on. This might be it.
Yes. Like those, and they dry them. You can get those dried now.
It's called a Livingstone daisy.
Interesting. Interesting name too when you think about where we just went.
Livingstone daisies.
You can get them dried now. Yeah, I've seen it. Like that's why I was like, it kept taking me back and forth into like, okay, they're real there, but like we get them dried now.
Yeah, Livingstone.
Okay. All right. Any more questions before we close this one out?
No, that all makes perfect sense to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Did it help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always helps talking to you.
Well, thank you. It was fun. I
don't always like get it to my soul, but it sticks up here sometimes, and I just need to like bring it down.
Integrate. Yes. So the suggestion for that, go out in nature, obviously, from the reading that you just had. Take a walk. Go take a walk. And then just breathe. Just take a walk, focus on nature. When I'm doing my nature walks like that, where I'm trying to integrate, I literally try and feel my heel touch the ground, feel the ground beneath me, heel to toe, and notice like, oh, look at the color of this green leaf and this tree and that green leaf and the color of the green in the bush and the difference in the color, and just start breathing in all those different things in nature.
I was thinking about when you were saying frolicking in the grass with my person. Do you remember that very huge St. Mary right next to the movie theater? She's humongous. And there's a big hill in front of her, and it's surrounded by trees.
Woo, yeah.
And I was thinking that we both could write worries and fears and then leave it at her feet.
Yes.
That's
I just got huge. Yeah.
Oh my God. So hi. Do you know that? You can see it off of the freeway.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been asking to do something after her day.
Yeah.
Can we go do
there
something?
You go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Usually it's like, can we go to Crossroads Exchange? And then I see what's happening, wanting to fill the void by shopping. And I was like, oh, we need to.
Yes. And that's, so we'll cut the video back then, but that's part of your learning.
Yeah.
Those are part of your lessons for those things. So she's showing you, she's got that. That's why she went away, to get that information. So she's sharing some of these gifts with you, slowly but surely.
Oh, we're going to be okay.
You are. You know that. You are.
Yes.
Now to my listeners, thank you so much for joining me and Corinne in today's episode. I hope you found something interesting or thought-provoking, and if you did, take the time to tell me about it in the comments here if this platform allows it, or visit me on one of my other social media accounts to have your voice heard. I'll list those details in the description below. And if you're interested or want to be a guest on this podcast, you can sign up by visiting my website. Again, I'll list that link below. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's a great way to support my channel for free and let me know I should be doing more content like this. Until next time, have a blissful journey.